Hi, Starseeds, and welcome to your weekly message. This week, we are going to talk about your complicated soul bonds, connections, and relationships. Now, for a starseed, environmental factors, like all the crazy going on in the world, you definitely have like almost, I don't want to say a full immunity, but a lot of things bounce off of you guys because of where you're from, your energy, etc. Now, the one place that can get you is in that emotional body. And just because you guys are all empaths, you really connect to other people, and certain people who are very devoid of being connected to their emotional body could look at manipulating you because of how open and vulnerable and loving you are to those who are very close to you. So those relationships are the ones that deter you, break you down, prevent you from shining your light and fulfilling your mission. That's the only way that I feel the darkness can get to you. So let's look at these relationships, what they're for, why they play out, and what is it meant to be for you with this person, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner. So let's just dig right in, Starseeds, and see what's going on with your soul bonds. Messenger, serious energy, bringing harmony and balance. All right, so this being the first card out, as painful as some of these relationships and connections are, they're actually a tool to awaken you and to evolve you and push you back into higher frequency. It may feel that some of these connections really pull you down into the darkness, into the shadow, but it's really being in that space is the catalyst that pushes you up into the light. Like, I never want to exist here again. Next is Inner Earth, and it says you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. So many of you are going to come into a deeper understanding about these troubled connections, what they mean, and there is going to be new beginnings for some of you with these people, because you got to remember, some of these connections are other star seeds who aren't awakened, activated on any level, who have gone through a lot in this life, and it's deeply impacted them and scarred them because they didn't have the understanding. They're very much cut off from their collective and the light, which, is a construct of the system. And so some of you get paired up with these people to help activate and awaken them. And it's a very long process, because to truly awaken, you really have to unlearn all you've been taught, shed your personality, shed your ego, shed everything about you, and transform into an entirely new being, from operating from a different perception, the whole 9 yards. And that's not an easy process. And so when you're paired up with somebody like that, where they are so asleep compared to you and what you see and understand and perceive, often you get paired up with those people so that you can activate and awaken them. And sometimes all you can do is put a seed in their mind and know that at some point in the future of their life, Spirit is going to add to that information that you gave them. So many of you, these relationships are to activate others and remind them of who they are and restore their personal empowerment. And, in that process, it also pulls you really down into this shadow. And the reason for that is, it's easy to get pessimistic, to give into fear-based energies, to see like chaos and just give into it. Like, I'm guilty of that myself. But once you're in that energy too long, you're like, this doesn't fit on me. I don't like it here. And some of you, it could be like a couple weeks, a couple years, back and forth. But ultimately, going down into those darker emotions and energies through these connections is trying to get you to evolve beyond that, like a refusal to ever go into that space. Because when you go into that space, the way you react, the way you handle things is very different than when you're vibing up here. And so down in this energy, a lot of mistakes are made. It's very uncomfortable, which ultimately pushes you into the light. And, through this relationship, should it circle back around, or it's currently in your life, or relationships to come, you will never go down into that energy once you fully evolve out of the lesson that's entailed with each connection, because you're an evolving soul as well, even though you are quite a bit advanced compared to the average person. And you know, it's like a choice that you have to make, because the shadow energy really throws you off balance, really confuses you, and it makes you question yourself, your role, your place in this universe. And, you know, some of you at times might feel like, God, am I just going crazy? Like, it can get very intense, but a lot is happening for you, and you awaken many people through these connections. And now look at this, the Star Keeper, cosmic ancestry, seed the light by staying grounded. Yes, yes, you will overcome any relationship that has set you back, that's hindered you, that's broken you, that's cut you deep and wide open. You will overcome each and every one of those situations, because as painful and heavy as it feels, it's really not that big of a deal to your, like, your soul, your spirit, who you really are. It's just being in the human form and dealing with these foreign energies and circumstances, and the gameplay and the deception and the dishonesty that is rampant amongst, you know, families, friend connections, romantic connections. That there is a lot of toxicity within the connections that, you know, all of us share today. Just think about any relationship you have. There's probably not one that you can think of that is pure all the way through, right? There's fights, there's arguments. That's normal. You're not searching for perfection. But what I'm talking about is how, you know, even though there's an emotional bond between two people, it's even it's like one person's always giving and doing and being more, and the other person is like taking, has a story, plays the victimhood role, all of those types of scenarios. That's not just happening to you, Starseeds, that's happening to everybody. And I've really tried to figure that out. Like, why is it that, you know, family connections, friendships, romantic partnerships are just like dissolving and fading away as if they never happened? Like, people losing sight of loyalty and the longevity and how much you've put into something. You know, once this hard spot's reached, oh, let's give up, let's move on, let's walk away. Like, so many relationships I see dissolving, you know, amongst the earth today. And I can only think that that's part of, you know, the system, like that's intended. And that's why I'm bringing this reading to you, is because you guys have really suffered that, but the impact of it cuts you so deep, really confuses you. And Spirit wants you to know that you've got to stay grounded. You've got to hold the space. You've got to hold the light. You've got to be the friend, the lover, the family member that you truly desire in return. And it's not to like bring it to yourself. That's just a part of it. It's also like the inspiration and you shining your light. You know, I can't even at this point in my life, I can't think of any relationship that I like would look up to or wish that I had. I mean, it's crazy to me. And it also has a lot to do, you know, with the digital age, where it doesn't matter. Like, there's unlimited quantity of entertainment, of dates, of, you know, whatever it is that you want. It's on the internet, and that's really separated and segregated, you know, the human family. It's a good tool for learning, and, you know, the technology that we're coming into, it's amazing. But at the same time, there's this huge separation of bonds and connections that is rampant right now. And it makes me very sad. And, you know, for you guys, I know the way that this impacts you goes so much deeper than the average person, because I'm not saying people don't, you know, care and they don't love, but for the starseed, it's all in the soul, or it's nothing at all. And that's why these connections break you down. It's like, why is everybody so flat? Why is everybody so empty? You know, how do you just turn things on and then turn them off like that? That's just, you know, you guys are not the only ones that suffer that, but it does impact you so, so deeply. Let's pull some cards and look at the, you know, soul level of all of this and what it really means. I just feel Starseeds, along with elevating, you know, consciousness and everything else you guys are doing, you're also restoring like the human family and relationships, because they are so distorted and disconnected. And again, that's why you guys had to experience some of this, so that you could know the energy and see what's wrong and then come into the solution. So it's what's going on right now, and everything else you guys are here to do. One of those missions is to restore the connection soul to soul, heart to heart, because it is like so hard to find these days. It really is, and that's sad. The Three of Manifestations. Energy balance. Yep, see, right there. I knew it. I knew you guys were here to help restore the human family, like the relationship aspect of things, as well as expanding consciousness into new ideas, perceptions, raising, you know, the frequencies of earth. You're also here to help restore like relationship and connection with people, and it's people you personally connect to, as well as the inspiration that you are to others, the advice that you give. And you know, a lot of people, it's just everything is so cut and dry, like black and white, and there's such an area of gray, and it's hard to decipher. Does somebody just have a lot of emotional baggage and that's why they act the way they do, or is this person just, you know, trying to manipulate me and take advantage of me to get what they want? Next is Activations Mentor. So this guy coming out, I know many of you have had a really bad relationship that just rocked you and cut you down to your core with the Activations Mentor. This is somebody who definitely is going to burn you. It's going to hurt you. But if you see the name of this, Activations Mentor, the reason for the relationship and the way it impacts you is to activate you in a profound way and wake you up to the truth of what is going on right now with relationships. You know, think about this. You know, as a tarot reader, and I know many of you guys do readings as well, what is the number one thing that people want to know about? An ex. You know, it's love in general, but an ex. It's always a freaking ex. And it's because when something burns you and it hurts you and it ends and you're lingering and you're yearning, it's because you haven't gained the lesson. You know, if you touch a hot stove and it burns your hands, you're not going to go back to the stove and touch it again and touch it again and touch it again and expect that it's not going to burn you every single time. But once there's some, you know, romantic emotions involved, it's like, I'll burn myself up hoping that this will change or turn into something that I truly desire it to be, when 9 times out of 10 that relationship was to create a profound activation within the individual so that they could evolve and grow and make new decisions and not tolerate a person like this in their life, not accept it, not give a free pass for it. Okay, so the fact that he's showing up for you guys, I know this mentor has impacted you in at least one relationship of your life, maybe multiple relationships. And again, for him, he's trying to activate you and help you understand your empathy better than you in the past. And I've gone through this lesson myself. You know, for me, I always thought, no, you've got to be understanding, you've got to be compassionate, you should always provide the same type of energy and relationship to any person that you desire in return. And though there is truth to that, you have to learn to put a boundary on your empathy, because you know there are people in this life where they've had some just really hard situations and it puts them in a hard spot, and you know you should be there and you should help and you should care. But the person where it's perpetual, it's always the same thing, or some new story of victimhood, or woe is me, this and that, that's a person where you need to really shut your empathy off, even if you really care about them, because they're playing on it. They're manipulating your emotions to their benefit. All right. And it's easy to spot the difference between the two when you don't have emotional connection to somebody. But when you do, it feels very impossible sometimes to decipher. Are they just hurting? Do they have some issue? Or are they really like using me? Are they taking advantage of me? And we could get caught up in relationships like that for years. And again, the longer it goes on, it's because the lesson isn't being gained. It isn't being learned at the soul level, like what's meant to happen through this connection. And you guys have experienced this. And, many people walking around on the earth have experienced this mentor. And it's just like they don't get the message, the full grasping, the understanding of what this is about. They want to reconcile, they want an apology, they want understanding, and this person is just meant to be a mentor, do their job, and move on. Next is manifestations, spirit guide. So everything that plays out in these relationships, it is very divine, and you're being led by a spirit guide, no question, with this card coming out. Every time you guys deal with a mentor, because there's multiple types of mentors, every time this energy comes into your life, there's a spirit guide that is guiding you the whole way through, trying to keep you very grounded. The Star Keeper, see the light by staying grounded. These relationships so easily unground us and get us over analyzing, really caught up in our heads, trying to figure things out, trying to understand. And again, that's a construct of the system. That's its purpose. And because I'm having a hard time with this reading, I feel like, man, this is a little bit harsh, Spirit. Like, what is up? This is not what I was expecting in this reading. But that's like, you're always going to get burned by this person if nothing fundamentally ever changes within them. That's the message. And through that, like I said, each of these mentors that you experience in your life, there's a profound activation that takes place within you that takes you to a new level of understanding, a higher level of understanding. And once you're there, you're not hurting about this person anymore. You're not pining for them or wishing for them back any longer, because the lesson has been gained and you've evolved. And the energy balance, has been achieved. And Three of Manifestations down here, there's good ones too, okay? Not every close relationship is this mentor energy. There's some people that will really love you and support you a great deal through this journey of yours. And now we have the Nine of Activations. So these relationships can often leave you feeling very overwhelmed and overstimulated because, man, some of you, through these different relationships, it's like multiple activations taking place, and it's so intense and overwhelming. And that's got to be why the spirit guide is always attached when a mentor comes into your life, because of how heavy these relationships will be for some of you. And I'll tell you from personal experience, the heaviest relationship I had, I truly believe this person was my twin flame, all of it. In the end, no. And he was my partner for 10 years. He was my friend for 4 years before that. And he taught me to trust my own intuition and about what gaslighting is, all of it. I gained multiple things through this person, and it destroyed me. It broke my heart because I was in 100% soul to soul, just like you guys. And he used me and strung me the whole way through and played it off so well. And then I was in pain for a long time, the love of my life, all of those things. And now 4 years on, with absolutely not seeing him in person, that's a big thing. No contact is huge in healing. I am good. I never thought I would be good, but I am good. And this 9 of activations, it was multiple things gained through him. And honestly, even though he put me through the most darkness I have ever experienced in my life, and I had a pretty rough childhood, so that should tell you a lot. I was actually in the system for a while, taken away from my mother, okay? He put me through more darkness than anything. But I had to change who I was. I had to be activated. I had to, be forced beyond this dogma of the human perception of what we're supposed to be and what we're doing here and what it's all really about. It's such a fallacy. And through all the pain and treachery that he put me through, he activated me slowly and slowly. And I was with him when I actually fully went into my spiritual self and abandoned who I used to be. He started my dark night of the soul. So as painful as some of these connections are, it is truly for your greatest good, because without everything he did to me and put me through and like destroyed me, I wouldn't be here reading cards. I wouldn't be making YouTube videos. I wouldn't be so connected to spirit. I wouldn't understand like life in the universe. I would still be in that bubble. And so I accept it now. I don't hurt. I don't cry anymore. And you guys won't either. And it took me a very, very long time to come into this understanding. It wasn't just like overnight I was good. It took a very long time. And so everything is a process, and you guys are receiving multiple activations through these mentors that are coming into your life, and it can be very, very painful. Don't give up. Don't feel small. Don't wonder, why don't you love me? Why isn't this working? Why would this even be brought into my life? Why would my emotions be awoken like this if it was not meant to be? It's not about the relationship, the love, the bond. It's about the way it activates you and what you expand and evolve into because of it. All right, let's pull some more cards and look at it more from the relationship sense. Ten of Heart energy, and this is coming out of the Three of Manifestations. There are people in your life that are going to just love you for you, okay? Romantically and, friend-wise, because friends are sometimes our true family, right? More so than our real family. And Spirit wants you to know that there are people that you will meet in this lifetime that will love and adore you and won't burn you. They're not meant to be an activated type of relationship. They're meant to be a relationship that gives you support and strength to move through life, through some of these activations. Under energy balance, we have a soulmate journey. And so that was talking about how, relationships and connections in general are so distorted right now. And you are here to help cure that condition. And boom, here it is, soulmate journey. As you come into this understanding and live your life accordingly, you become an inspiration to others, but also your words, your counsel about relationships and what they really mean. And even though we feel them so intensely, at the end of the day, it's all just chemical reactions. I mean, that's science right there. It's all just chemical reactions. And, that when we get really infatuated with somebody, that's like an addiction, almost as if it were a drug. So you guys are going to help people understand the difference between that chemical reaction as well opposed to the soul to soul, heart to heart type of connections, because everybody is like drawn into that chemical reaction of, oh my God, I had butterflies and this and that, and that's not real. That's going to fade. But the soul to soul, that is our real connections. Those are the people who we're meant to focus on and give time to. And, here you are helping to restore this and balance this. Under activations mentor, we have the 8 of Heart energy. So this is like a temporary the separation. Okay, it's like this will pass, this separation, and I get a couple different messages for you guys with that. Some of you, that means this particular mentor is somebody who is in and out of your life. And I won't even lie, like when I was feeling like I was finally over this person, it kind of scared me. Like, whoa, I'm over this? Like, who am I with not feeling and this relationship being a part of me? And I think some of you go through that where it's like, whoa, it's kind of shocking because it's like this has been such a part of me for so long. And so those of you where this is back and forth, that's why it happens. But once you decide to take the activation over the human experience of this person, I'm telling you, things will really start to change within you. And as you evolve in that space, you give such beautiful guidance, advice, and wisdom to others to remind them that this is what love is about, soul to soul, heart to heart, not chemical. It is not a chemical thing. All right, under the manifestation spirit guide, we have the 9 of karmic energy. And this is exactly what I was just saying about that chemical reaction where it's very physical, or, you know, like physical attraction, or it's like, okay, I want what you want. I want the status that you have, because the 9 of karmic energy is a connection that is a complete show. It's a fraud. The two people involved within it, you know, they're there for the wrong reasons, okay? It's not that soul to soul. It's chemical or material. Now, for you guys, what I feel is your soul, and you keep getting involved with people that are all show and chemical, and it hurts. And that's why the spirit guide is sitting here trying to help you understand the difference in relationships. And now under the activations, we have the 10 of twin flames. So many of you have a quote-unquote twin flame this life journey, and you're going to experience many lessons and activations through this person, with the 10 of twin flames coming out under the 9 of activations here. So for you guys, the main lesson that you've been working on is understanding the difference between chemical and soul to soul. And that's not within you. That's how somebody is attracted to you. Is it just that reaction, or is it their soul? Okay, and somebody who is very manipulative, they could trick you quite easily. But after you learn this lesson, they can't. You just spot it for what it is. And then again, you're helping restore that relationship and connection balance for others on this planet at this time, and teaching them the difference in between, you know. And I have young daughters, and just seeing what they go through dating, it's so heartbreaking and scary to me, because I'm like, that was not how it was when I was young. Like, I'm happy there was no internet, social media, dating websites when I was young, because I can't even imagine what that would be like. It's hard enough growing up, you know, and then in a world where you can always just swipe to the next one, why invest the time in anything, right? And so again, that's a construct of the system. It's doing its job, and you starseeds are here to counteract that, to remind people what true love is really about. And it is good times and bad times, but it's about honor, respect, and appreciation all the way through. And this doesn't mean that you're not physically attracted to the person. It's just the connection is much deeper, and the love would still be there regardless of money, lack thereof, status, lack thereof, physical appearance could alter. The love is still there. That is true love. That is real love, and that exists inside you guys, and you're bringing that back to the earth plane, because it is such a rare thing these days to find people who are in love, even if they've been together for like a lot of years, you know, oh, together 15 years, but it's like, well, how many affairs did you have, sister? Okay, but you're celebrating. So you guys are restoring that, and making people aware that if that's the kind of relationship you're involved in, it's not really worth your time. It only like takes from you. All right, let's pull some more cards. So talking interested, conversing, awaited messages, text, call. So this talking is this 3 of manifestation and this 10 of heart energy. People who really care about you and love you. They're not going to ghost you. They're not going to act like they're bothered. They're not going to act like they don't have the time for you. They're not going to have 500 excuses as to why they weren't there for you, or they can't help you, or they didn't get back to you. Under the soulmate, look at this. We've got the hammer. It is definitely time to rebuild these relationship connections within humanity because they're not there. I mean, goodness, if you just do like a little search of, moms hurting their children to the point the children are transitioning, it scares me. It scares me how many mothers are harming their children. Like, and I know the natural reaction is, oh, that person's sick, or how could they? I could never imagine. It's the construct of the system. It's all relationships are being infiltrated, and the energy waves across the earth plane are causing people to really get stuck in those lower vibrational energies. And in that space, you don't have the perception of the light. Like when you're up here, it's a different experience and perception, and so they act accordingly. And that's part of your work here, Starseeds, is to help heal and reconnect people, and help elevate people out of those shadow energies. Because when you're elevated out of those shadow energies, you don't make the same choices that you would have. Okay, it's like shadow energy, lack of empathy. Up here in the light, there's empathy, there's compassion, there's clarity, there's understanding, there's trust. Down here, it's I got to look out for myself. It's lack of authenticity. It's me type of energy. Oh, it's just, I feel this so strong. This is not the message that I expected to come out in this reading, to be honest with you guys. I really thought Spirit was going to come at a different angle, but no. This is really about you guys as well as the rest of humanity, and the corruption and what's wrong, and how you guys, it's time to awaken to a higher perspective about connections. Because as you do that, and you hold the space, and you hold the light of that, and you refuse to accept anything less than, you shift everybody else. Okay, it's a process. We have the Phoenix. Yes, see, I knew it. The Phoenix, rekindle, renewal, transformation, growth. This activation mentor that comes into your life absolutely meant for you to maybe go through dark night of the soul, or become 100% activated, awakened, aware, turned on 100% with this mentor. That is why they're in your life. That is why things played out the way they did, because it's truly leading you into this Phoenix energy, which is your most empowered state of being. Now look at this. We have separation under the spirit guide, as well as the 9 of karmic energy. And this is letting you know that when the relationship ends abruptly out of your life, that's your spirit guide helping out with that, because it's time. You can only handle so much, okay? As great as you are, as deep as you love, as pure and true as you want to be in any given connection, you only have so much capacity to be taken advantage of, to be used, to be hurt, to not be cared for in the same aspect that you're giving back. So if you find a period in your life where a ton of people, a ton of connections are just dissolving, that's because they weren't true. They were chemical. They weren't soul to soul. And again, this could be friends, family, romance. When you go through that, that's because those are chemical or material. It's not the soul to soul, which is who and what you are. And sometimes you could get lonely, but when you're entertaining relationships that are chemical or material, you're adding to that energy, to that vibration. You're here to counteract that. That's why they dissolve out of your life. And your spirit guides really try to help bring you into that higher understanding, so you start choosing relationships that honor, that are soul to soul, even if that means you have to walk your journey by yourself for some time. And lastly, we have the butterfly. relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. Yes, there you go, right there, star seeds. Transforming. You got the phoenix and the butterfly here. So a lot of different connections are going to help you with this process. You have several mentors that come through, I believe. Oh my gosh, I just thought I'll pull the very next card, and look it, it's another mentor. Lessons mentor. Oh, this guy is the most challenging mentor of the deck. You could just compare him to Saturn, really. Okay, like Saturn in Capricorn or Saturn in Pisces. Ooh, he brings a lot, but again, it's mentor. He doesn't look like a mentor. The way you feel about this person is anything but a teacher or a mentor, but it's because it's soul to soul. That's where you're truly gaining, learning, evolving, and growing. And the human perception can really distort what's happening here, or the process of it. So the lessons mentor being the very next card, and look, next card after that is actually two of intuition. So I won't pull anymore. I just wanted to see the two of intuition is such a beautiful breakthrough where you come into the place of unconditional love, nothing but divinity being perceived through your eyes, whether you're looking at another person or you are just connecting with spirit in this space. That's where you're headed through these relationships, is to this energy, and this is beautiful. Now, with the twin flame, those of you that are a part of that process, it might be, some of you might just know, but if there's any confusion where you're like, well, I'm not sure if they are, I think they are, but I don't know, ask this spirit guide for some help in understanding that, because ultimately this is the energy that you evolve into, whether with another person or you evolving beyond these chemical and material relationships. And once you've evolved beyond that, it's all soul to soul for you. You won't even entertain a relationship that's not up to that level, that standard. All right, let's pull some more cards. Right. Crystal clear intention. And honor how far you have come. And look at, there is a big, big butterfly. Yes, you guys will heal and evolve out of all of these relationships and connections that are very challenging, heavy, and painful for you. You absolutely will. And with the right come out, some of you, I feel just the different relationships that you've encountered and the experiences that you've gone through. Some of you could absolutely start a blog, write a book, give advice and counsel to others going through, that same type of relationship and situation, but explain it to them from a spiritual perspective so that they can understand why certain things are playing out the way they are, what it's meant for, how they're evolving and growing and maturing, and really getting them out of that, chemical material type of attraction into that soul type of attraction, because some people don't even know that they're addicted to that chemical reaction. Okay, they don't even know it. Again, construct of the system. You're not meant to understand that. You're not meant to see that. It's doing its job. It's really separating and segregating so many connections and relationships and making it very, very hard to establish strong new ones, right? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Some of you may feel this and see this as deeply as I do, and maybe some others of you are like, oh, I've kind of noticed that, but yeah, now this is making a lot of sense. I see. And through the way that you share what you're doing, it changes your energy, crystal clear intention. And when you're in that space, no, it's not about chemical or material. You're only drawn to soul energy, and you've done a lot of work. Some of you may feel like, I feel stuck in this still. no, you're really coming far. And we have the 444 portal just about to take place, which is going to be a big game changer in so many different ways. I'm going to do that video after this one, actually. And, you know, you've just got to trust the process and go with the energy. But, you know, you're not alone. There's a spirit guide that helps you through all of your challenging relationships and connections. And, you know, some of them lead into this energy and others just kind of fade out and taper off. All right, let's pull some advice. Gratitude. Universal love shines through the miracles of life all around you. There are people that will love you and honor you and respect you and get you and understand you. Don't doubt it, okay? Believe it. Spirit trying to really help you with that right now, because it's been a long journey for some. Vibration. Your vibration is being raised to higher levels. You are connected to cosmic intelligence, and that makes perfect sense on this reading. You know, instead of being down here in these shadow, lower vibrational energies where most relationships get established and connect these days, Spirit's trying to raise you up, because, you know, even if it's just you or two star seeds practicing this vibration, it adds to the collective. It creates a new choice, okay? You've got to know that what you do is not for nothing. It is not worthless. I promise you. It's just, it takes some time. And now we have no limitations. You are a celestial being with unlimited potential. There is much for you to share. Yes, the way that you grow and evolve through these challenging connections and relationships is not just for you and your soul evolution, but the way that you understand and perceive, you really help a lot of other people, okay? Get out of these chemical, material relationships and connections and remind them or awaken them to what true love is, what soul to soul really is, okay? Because once you raise that vibration and you exist there, nobody can come at you in these lower energies. You won't be sucked into that. You won't. You just see it for what it is, 100%. And you know, you'll know the lessons that you've been through, and you'll be like, oh no, I'm not doing this again. And then those of you where this twin flame comes into play, this right here, this where we have this profound expression of unconditional love, it's got to be equal. They have also got to be awoken to the same level in which you are in order for you guys to come together in this energy. And the timing and process of that will be different for all of you, but ask that spirit guide to help you understand where you're very confused. All right, so those are your messages, Starseeds. I am sending you guys lots of love and light. Take care.